someone on the iPhone says, what to do with intrusive thoughts. Oh, there's so much I could say about intrusive thoughts, but I don't think there's any such thing as an intrusive thought. I think what happens is a thought appears, right? Yeah, and sometimes these thoughts can be quite dark or violent thoughts, and then what we might do is react to that thought. We might label that thought or judge that thought. That's a bad thought, or I shouldn't have that thought, or there's something wrong with me for having that thought, or there's something wrong with my brain for producing that thought. None of that is true. Those are just more thoughts. An intrusive thought is what we call an intrusive thought, what we label an intrusive thought. It's basically a thought that we don't want. I don't want that thought. I shouldn't be having that thought. That's a dangerous thought. But this is what meditation teaches us, and we have to dive into meditation to really learn this. Like, meditation, moment by moment, teaches us that there are no bad thoughts. There are no wrong thoughts. There are no mistakes in our experience. It's just, I know this is an overused metaphor, but if you imagine a movie screen, right? I mean, you go to the cinema and you watch a horror film, or you watch a romantic comedy, or you watch a war film, or you watch a sci-fi movie, or you watch a film set in the past or set in the future. Speaking of screens, I just went out of focus. But so the movie screen itself is never affected by the movies that are shown on it. It's the movie screen itself is never damaged. Even if you projected the darkest, most violent horror film, for example, the screen itself is not damaged. The screen itself is not harmed. The screen, you could say, and this is just a metaphor, but the screen just allows, right? The screen is like presence itself. Anything can be projected onto that screen, and the screen just allows that projection, allows that thought or feeling. It allows it to come, to stay for a while, to go, even if it's intense, even if it's dark or violent. Its presence itself is not damaged. It's not harmed. So if we can begin to have this attitude towards our own experience, that if we can begin to just remember that you are the, mixing metaphors, but you are the movie screen, you are the ocean. It's the same thing. Images on the screen or waves in the ocean. I'm pointing to the same thing. I'm pointing to presence, which is silence, which is wordless, which is what you are, which is what I am, which is what we all are. So the more you can remember that you are the space, I am the space for these thoughts. There's enough room in me for these thoughts, even the darkest thoughts, even the most violent thoughts. They're just thoughts. You can't stop thoughts, of course. And the more you try and silence thoughts, the more you try and stop thoughts, the more you try and make thoughts go away, the louder they get. You become powerless. Your true power isn't in that direction. Your true power is in being the power of presence itself, being the power of presence that allows, I allow this thought. The thought, it's not really who you are, the thought. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're sick. It doesn't mean you're broken. Those are just more waves, more thoughts. So we can even allow those thoughts. So this is just how I would answer that question. I would say there aren't no thought is inherently intrusive. If say you're you're sitting, it's happened to me many times, you're sitting quietly in meditation, and you're watching your breathing, and you're relaxing, and you're spacious, and the mind is calming down, and then you say to yourself, oh, this is going really well, this is the experience I want. And then the next moment a really dark thought comes in, or a really dark memory, or some shocking violent image, or a really uncomfortable feeling. You were so peaceful a moment ago, right? You thought you were enlightened, but now fear, out of the depths, or out of the depths, rage. From the perspective of presence, None of that's a mistake. From the perspective of presence, it's just waves coming and going. They can be allowed. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're not meditating. But maybe from the perspective of the mind, you might say, oh, I was having a really good experience, and then this thought came and ruined it. Now that's what you might label it as an intrusive thought or an intrusive feeling. But it's only intrusive because you had a concept, an idea of how it should be. It should be nice and peaceful and this, and then that thought comes in or that feeling comes in, and it feels like it's intruding. It's shattering your image, your control. Basically, you were trying to control your experience, and then these pesky thoughts, they don't seem to respect your wish to control everything. And so the thought comes in, and suddenly it feels everything's out of control, and you feel powerless, and you feel that it's ruined your moment, or it's ruined your meditation. But it hasn't really. So it might have shattered your image of peace. But then that isn't real peace, isn't it? That's a peace that is at war. That's the kind of peace that says, no, that you can't come in, thought, you can't, and you can't come in, and you can't come in, and anger, you can't come in. And that's not true peace. True peace is, it's not, I can only have positive thoughts. That negative thought, that's not allowed in. That's not peace. That's control. That's the mind. True peace, this is the peace that I've discovered through this meditation, and you can discover too through this meditation, hopefully, is it's a deeper kind of peace. It's a peace that says yes to all experience. It's a peace that it allows the peaceful state, but it also allows the mind to chatter away. It allows the dark thoughts. It allows the fear. It allows the joy. It's radically all inclusive. It is radically all inclusive. It's like this beautiful internal rainbow democracy. It's like the opposite of an internal fascist state. It's like an beautiful open field within yourself where every thought is allowed, every feeling is allowed. It doesn't mean that sometimes I wish that thought wasn't there, or I wish this feeling wasn't here. But as I always say, you're too late. It's already here. It's already here. The thought, the sensation, the feeling is already here. So you might as well bow to it. You might as well bow to it. That's what meditation teaches us on the deepest level, is to bow to our experience. And that doesn't make us weak. It doesn't make us passive and weak. I've discovered it's the opposite, actually. We remember our true power. Our true power. So then, the same thought might keep arising, a thought that in the past you might have called intrusive, or a feeling that you might have called intrusive. But now, because you remember who you really are, it's not intruding. It's not intruding. It's just arising to be seen, to be loved, to be included. It's just a wave arising in your ocean. There's no intrusive waves. There are no intrusive waves when you remember that you are the ocean. So that was a long response, but I think it's a good question.